really interesting fight on our prelim card, Matt, and this is a possible fight of the night at lightweight between Thud, Austin Hubbard, and Joe Solecki. And Matt, this is the second time we're going to see Joe Solecki in the octagon, and it's been a while. And for Austin Hubbard, we saw him earlier on this summer absolutely piecing up Max Roscoff in the second round of their fight. First round didn't go his way. Second round definitely went in his way, and Max Roscoff unfortunately submitting due to the pressure, just giving up on the stool, and that was that. Austin Hubbard so far, after becoming LFA lightweight champ, he's alternated wins and losses. I mean, the losses are to primary grapplers, Davi Ramos and Marco Madsen. And Matt, we know what happened in the Roscoff fight. It's a fight against Marco Madsen that I think really holds importance for Austin Hubbard. What did you take away from that one?
So, Marco Madsen was just able to kind of ragdoll Austin Hubbard throughout that fight, really have his way with him, especially in the grappling department. But then in the third round, as Madsen did start to fatigue, the takedowns weren't coming at such a high rate anymore. And then Austin Hubbard was really able to kind of light him up on the feet as the round was going on. Really good knees at the middle, techniques like that would prevent a wrestler from getting it on her hips. So he evolved as the fight wore on, and that's something you really like to see from a younger guy like Austin Hubbard.
And it was a good one for him. And for Joe Solecki coming in here on a 4-fight win streak, really getting it done. Came in from Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, or Contender Series 2019, with a big win there. And then, of course, in his UFC debut, taking on a guy who had been off for a long time in Matt Wyman, picking up a big win there. So with Joe Solecki, the thing with him, and I talked about it, you know, Austin Hubbard struggled against grapplers. He came back strong in that fight against Marco Madsen. For a guy like Joe Solecki to get the big win over James Wallace, and then to come from a training camp out of Gym O, where Gym O, Craig, what are you talking about? Well, this is a gym that has John Salter, Impa Kasanganay, and Brian Barberena. And you might look at that and you'll say, well, John Salter, who's that? His UFC run didn't go all that great. I don't care, because his grappling's amazing. I mean, you look at the one fight that he had in Bellator against Rafael Lovato Jr., that was a title eliminator and two great grapplers. So for Joe Solecki to have that as your background, you got Kasanganay with a great stand-up, you've got John Salter with the great abilities on the ground, and then Brian Barberena, you're throwing a little bit of extra spice in there to get a little crazy. I think that's great. And oh, by the way, Austin Hubbard coming out of Factory X, and you know the guys that you have there. I think this has, you know, a possible fight of the night written all over it. What's your overall takeaway in this one?
So, I think it will be a fun fight, and especially no matter where the fight goes, because both guys can just kind of do everything. Now, I'm not saying Austin Hubbard's the greatest grappler in the world, but if Solecki does decide to take this fight to the ground, he will be able to kind of put up a fight and then get it back up to the feet. I do see this being more of a striking exchange. Now, with Solecki, I don't know if he can stay as busy as Hubbard on the feet if it is primarily a striking fight. If Hubbard's just kind of able to set up his combinations, go for those calf kicks, and then kind of work his way up to the head, he's going to be able to do that for 15 minutes quite easily. So I'm kind of siding with Austin Hubbard. And I just think he's slightly more well-rounded than Solecki at this stage of his career.
The odds have moved a little bit in terms of Austin Hubbard, actually. He's still an underdog, plus 120. You've got Solecki coming in the minus 125 favorite. They've shifted about 15 to 20 points so far since the line came out. And they haven't been out for that long, because over on Topology, if you look at the votes, out of 232 votes, 66% going with Hubbard, 80% going decision. I think it's a little bit of recency bias in terms of all of that. For my money, I think the good chance here is for Joe Solecki to get the win. I think if you just follow a blueprint, which was put out there by Ramos, and it's easier said than done, especially for Marco Madsen with that great Greco-Roman base, but I think Joe Solecki is going to be able to get it done in this fight. Again, I had Max Roscoff to beat Austin Hubbard, so what do I know? What do you take away from this one?
I think it's Hubbard's fight to lose. I do think he is going to be able to be that much steadier, much busier fighter on the feet, and I do think that's where the majority of this fight is going to be held. I don't see either guy having this massive knockout in their back pocket. I do think this is going to be a longer striking fight, and I'm going to pick Austin Hubbard in it. I think it'll be an entertaining one, though.
Matt, I like it so far. We got a little bit of difference to kick off this prelim card. You're not going to want to miss the rest of our predictions for the card, including an extended look at our main event between Frankie Edgar and a really tough out in Pedro Munhoz. Keep locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt. As we always say, let's get into it.